3 pages. Let's skip them up.
That's what I said.
Just skip them up. Just read it all into me.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure we should have hired you now.
We schedule a review. Review the review.
You can't take anything back. You already gave to me. You can't take it back.
Okay, we're good.
I said, I watched you.
Good evening and welcome to the city council meeting. The hour is upon us, so I would call the regular meeting to order and ask you to turn your cell phones to silent or vibrate. And then let's all please stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chris, would you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Dalby,
Here.
Councilmember Rowe,
Here.
Councilmember Stevens,
Here.
Councilmember Strebe,
Here.
Councilmember Berg,
Here.
Mayor Lazio.
Here.
Items on the consent agenda. Minutes from regular meeting number 13 on April 16th, 2019, and special meeting number 14 on April 18th, 2019, as presented. Acknowledgement of March financial report and payment of bills as submitted by the Finance Department. Mayor's proclamation of May 18th, 2019 as Kids to Parks Day 2019. Mayor's proclamation of the month of May as National Historic Preservation Month. Mayor's proclamation of the 50th anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week, May 5th through May 11th, 2019. Canvasser and solicitor application for American Legion Auxiliary to collect donations for Poppy Week for veterans on 5/20 through 5/27/19 at various businesses within the city. Purchase asphalt for the 2020 season, 2019-2020 fiscal year. Approve the purchase of 5 Bravo Company patrol rifles and accessories, armor plates, plate carriers, and accessories for the Ottumwa Police Department in the amount of $24,466. Resolution number 58, 2019, approve the purchase of a 3/4-ton 4-wheel drive extended cab pickup truck for the Water Pollution Control Facility from Clemens Incorporated of Ottumwa, Iowa for $29,346.86. Resolution number 79, 2019, setting the date for a public hearing on the intent to dispose of city-owned property located at 912 North Ash Street. Resolution number 84, 2019, setting the date for a public hearing on the intent to dispose of city-owned property located at 206 East Court. Resolution number 85, 2019, authorizing the monthly budgeted transfers as authorized in the fiscal year 2019 budget. Resolution number 88, 2019, authorizing renewal and administrative services agreement between Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa and the City of Ottumwa, effective July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Resolution number 91, 2019, assessing delinquent sewer collection fees on property taxes for a total of $528.51. Resolution number 92, 2019, assessing delinquent refuse collection fees on property taxes for a total of $661.60. Resolution number 93, 2019, approving the contract bond and certificate of insurance for the East Alta Vista Reconstruction Project. Resolution number 95, 2019, approving the contract bond and certificate of insurance for the Beach Phase 3 Sound System Replacement Project. Cigarette permit application for the battery store located at 616 Church Street. Beer and/or liquor applications for the following: Ottumwa Grocery LLC at 129 to 131 East 2nd Street, Las Palmas Bar and Grill Incorporated at 321 East 2nd Street, Walgreens number 1301 at 327 West 4th Street, the Owl's Nest at 116 South Court Street, temporary outdoor service area for 5/31/2019 at the Canteen Alley. Casey's General Store number 7 at 1001 East Main Street. Casey's General Store number 2208 at 1603 West 2nd Street. Casey's General Store number 1886 at 504 West Mary Street. Casey's General Store number 1678 at 346 Richmond Avenue. Uncle Buck's Bar and Grill at 518 Church Street, temporary outdoor service area on 52519. All applications pending final inspections.
Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Your Honor, I'd make the motion that we accept the consent agenda with the removal of B17 to be voted on separately.
Second.
Okay, go ahead.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Okay. So we've done everything except 17. Are you going to take any action on 17?
Your Honor, I'd make the motion that we accept resolution number 95, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion or comments? Okay, take the roll.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
No.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1. Item C, I need approval for tonight's agenda. Is there such a motion?
Move approval, Your Honor.
Second.
I think for that, we'll take a voice vote. So those in favor of the approval of tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item D is for a report, and tonight we have a special occasion. We'd like to have Chief Tony Miller come up and tell us about the fire department badge pinning. So, Tony, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. This is a thing that we started here a few years ago when we have new hirees that we bring them to the council and we bring them to the city so everybody will understand who our new hirees are. Our first person we're going to have is Troy Pilcher. Troy, you want to come up with your spouse? Troy is with the United States Air Force. He currently is still an active veteran. He's married to Carissa. They have 3 kids, age 4, 2, and a baby, a 7-month-old baby. Troy's been with the fire department since November 11th of 2017, and he is being pinned by his wife, Carissa. Congratulations, you guys. Welcome to the fire department. Our next 2 hiree is Jerry Lemuse. Jerry, you and Jennifer and Bill want to come up? We got an unusual situation here. Jerry's being pinned by a guy you guys may know. Bill Trout was one of our assistant chiefs, retired a couple years ago. After 37 years of the department, Bill and Jerry's spouse, Jennifer, are going to pin him. Jerry's been with the fire department since February 3rd of 2018. And Jerry has a 15-year-old son also. Congratulations, you guys. Our third guy is Dylan McPherson. Dylan, you want to come up? You and Alex come up. Dylan is a veteran also. He was in the United States Marine Corps, and he's also an Army Ranger. He's got 1 boy and 1 girl, and he is going to be pinned by his wife, Alex, and he's been with us since April 10th of 2018. Congratulations, you guys. Last and not the least is our last guy we hired, Braulio Flores. Braulio was a firefighter with Albia Fire Department for many, many years, and we're pretty fortunate. Braulio is an excellent firefighter, and he's an excellent EMS guy. They've got a son and a daughter, and he's been married to Mackenzie for 7 years, and he is being pinned by his spouse, Mackenzie. Thank you, guys. Welcome to the city. We have one more firefighter that's not here tonight. He's a veteran also, and he's right in the middle of doing his 2-week training. So once he gets back with training, we'll get him down here so we can get him pinned also. But thank you for allowing us to do this.
Thank you, Chief, and congratulations to all the firefighters and their families. It's a great honor and tribute to have you here. At this time, I'd like to continue. Andy, I'll call on you for fire safety operation business permit information.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. Chief Miller is with us here this evening. Council may recall some discussions staff has had in the past with council, particularly some of the written correspondence, as an example in the weekly reports, and that is migrating to a fire safety occupational / business permit, a business license. There are several communities that quite frankly have a business license, and we do not. This combines the two. It is the same item as it relates to inspections. There will be staff is recommending a small fee increase from $35 to $50 as it includes both those components. And Chief Miller is with us here this evening. Whether I would point out for the chief again speaking, again, this is put in front of council as an item for you to study, look at. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. We will request council take action on this on the 21st. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn the microphone back over to you.
Good evening, Chief. You have the floor again.
Thank you. This is a project we've been working on for at least 2 years, maybe 3 years, and it's finally come to play. The fire department, we kind of took this and run with it because this was brought up by the former director of the Chamber of Commerce, Connie Wilson. This is when the process started. Now we're going to take this to the next step and get this thing done. The council adopted the 2015 International Fire Code, and this is part of that. There's a couple small changes that we're going to make that between the old one and what the new one. The only two changes I see is instead of a 1-year annual deal, it's going to be 2-year, and the fee is going to go from $35 to $50, which is still relatively cheap throughout the state.
Okay, very good. We'll expect a staff report, and you can comment more next time when we take it up for a vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Item E in our agenda, we provide an opportunity for citizens to comment on any item on the agenda. Is there anybody in the audience that's turned in a slip, Chris, or? Okay. All right, we'll move to item F then.
Approve grant application to the Bureau of Justice Assistance to participate in the 2019 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program and authorize the mayor to sign any related documents as may be required. Recommendation: approve submission of the grant application and authorize mayor to sign any related documents as may be required.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
This evening we have Mickey Hucks with us. So good evening, Mickey. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Bulletproof vests have a lifespan of 5 years. As a result, the department currently budgets for the purchase of 5 to 10 vests per year, depending on the need. This grant will cover purchases made between April 1st of 19 through and August 31st of 2021. The Bureau of Justice Assistance has established the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program in order to assist law enforcement agencies with purchasing bulletproof vests for their officers. The program will reimburse up to 50% of the costs of vests after they have been purchased. The actual percentage of reimbursements will be determined at a later date and will depend upon the number of total applications. The application and reimbursement process is conducted over the internet. The application will request 10 vests in the amount of $8,650 for a possible reimbursement of half that, which is $4,325.
Are there any questions for Mickey? Okay, those in favor of the activity to allow this to go through, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, Mickey.
Bid report and contract award for asbestos removal, demolition, and cleanup at 1722 Mabel and a vacant lot next to 1722 Mabel. Recommendation: accept bid and award contract for asbestos removal, demolition, and cleanup of 1722 Mabel and the vacant lot next to 1722 Mabel to Environmental Edge of Atumwa, Iowa, in the amount of $8,374.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you, Your Honor. City accepted bids for this project until 2 p.m. April 30th, 2019. Only 4 bids were received. Environmental Edge submitted the best bid for all of the work entailed, abatement and demolition, in the amount of $8,374. We recommend awarded bid to Environmental Edge.
Any questions for Kevin? Okay, those in favor of this recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you, Kevin.
Bid report and contract award for asbestos removal and demolition of 204 South Van Buren. Recommendation: accept bid and award contracts for demolition to Tim Skinner Trucking and Excavation of Atumwa, Iowa, in the amount of $6,964, and for asbestos removal to Dan Larson Excavating of Atumwa, Iowa, in the amount of $7,400.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Matt.
The city accepted bids for this project on 2 p.m. April 30th, 2019, and 5 bids were received. Tim Skinner submitted the best bid in the amount of $69.64 for demolition, and Dan Larson in the amount for abatement of $7,400.
Any questions for Kevin? Hearing none, those in favor of the recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
This is the time,
Thank you.
place, and date set for a public hearing on the proposed amendment to the 2019 city budget.
Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, Your Honor. Thank you. We have to have a public hearing prior to amending the budget. The budget amendment information has been provided to you in an attachment to the resolution number 70, 2019. We're going to basically increase revenue about $6,600,000 and reducing the expenditures by about $2.5 million. Everything that we are budgeting or adjusting and amending the budget for have been for either costs that have exceeded what we thought they originally we anticipated them going to, and or projects that have been approved by council.
This is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to address this particular item, I don't see anybody, so let's close the public hearing. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Those in favor of closing the public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried again.
Resolution number 70, 2019, amending the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 70, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation is presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions for Bob? This is very complete, Bob, and it was easy to follow. I like the way you did it.
Thank you. That's, Christy always prepares that for us. And like I said, she's the one who keeps track of all the small details for us. So we can make the big decisions.
Ready to vote? Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
This is the time, place, and date set for a public hearing on the sale of city-owned property located at Lot 12 in Block 12, Blake's Addition, a vacant lot located on the corner of North Cherry and Locust Streets.
Good evening, Kevin. You have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Donald L. Jones offered the city $250 for a vacant lot located on the corner of North Cherry and Locust Street. Mr. Jones wants to use the lot as green space and yard for the apartment building next door that he owns. The property will be transferred by a quitclaim deed, and the buyer will pay the cost of publishing public hearing notice and the recording fees. Also, to note on this property is that Mr. Jones has agreed that once he takes possession of this property, that he will also abate the nuisances that presently exist upon it.
Very good. Okay. This also is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to address this item, Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Holly. Those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 78, 2019, accepting the offer and approving the sale of city-owned property located at Lot 12 and Block 12 Lakes Edition, North Cherry Street, to Donald L. Jones for the sum of $250. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 78, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I have one question. I believe we talked about this previously, and Kevin, not to put you on the spot, but this is something the city's had for some time when we emphasize the lot being used for green space. I don't know whether or not that's something that staff monitors or not. Again, not to put you on the spot on this, Kevin. It's just an item that has, well, it appears frequently when we have these, and I wonder if there's anyone on staff I'm not aware of that verifies this, that in fact they're being maintained. My experience in other communities have been it is not maintained by the city.
In terms of keeping the grass cut, making sure no nuisances exist on the properties, maintaining them as, quote, yard space. If that weren't happening, of course, it would pop up on the city's radar, and our normal processes, a complaint might come in upon it, or we would see it in our passing by. But we certainly keep an account of how many of lots that we're selling for yard space. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I had.
Okay. Councilman Stevens, go ahead.
Yeah, I've already talked to Kevin about this earlier today, but I would suggest that when we sell these lots, if they're in pretty rough shape, that we have a stipulation in the sale that if it's not cleaned up within a certain amount of time, that it reverts back to the city, or something that would protect us. This particular lot we're looking at tonight is full of brush, trees, concrete, tires. It looks like a big expense to clean this lot up, but I would just suggest that we look at doing something different in the future to ensure that they are cleaned up.
Yes, I think that's an excellent idea. In this case, Mr. Jones is saving us quite a bit of money. The city was about to do the cleanup on this property. So in this case, we actually are getting a great savings. But I think that's a very good idea. In instances where we see these kinds of nuisances on these properties, from now on, we'll include those in a contractual manner.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good.
Your
All
Honor, I
right.
got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Now that we've opened it up and added some questions on one of these routine things, I've got to add just a quick question, something I've wanted to know for a while. And I probably already know the answer to it. Once you go ahead and somebody submits, the request to purchase this and say it's going to be used for green space, does that close the door for them to doing anything in the future as far as building on it or anything like that?
No, it
Held to
doesn't.
that forever, or is that just temporarily for the time being?
And no, you're right. It doesn't close the door. There can certainly be accessory buildings on that lot in the future. In most cases, the way we've been doing that is a restrictive deeding on the properties, because of course you can't have, you must have a principal structure on a property before you can have an accessory structure. But we've been doing that through deeding, where that one property cannot be sold without the other restrictive deeds. But no, it doesn't, we don't place any limitations on a use of a property afterward. It could be yard, it could be actually built upon and sold, built upon and kept as a familial matter. Our goal is always to get these things back into private hands, get them back on the tax rolls. But certainly in any given instance, if the city wished for the lot to remain in green space, quote, or yard use, we could stipulate that in a sale manner.
Thank you.
Okay, good questions.
Mr. Mayor, just one other question on this. Pardon me. And this goes back to Councilman Stevens' question, and that relates to maintenance. On the one hand, this lot would be treated like any lot, I'm assuming, to the extent there's junk, trash, and debris on site. That's going to be a code violation, and that's certainly something that Kevin's office will execute. On the other hand, if I hear what Councilman Stevens said, and that's perhaps creating a separate policy for this, not just this particular lot, but lots in general that are set aside as part of a green space initiative, let's just say. It seems to me code enforcement is probably already doing that, but I just want to make sure, direction from council, do we continue to treat this lot as we would any other lot that has, again, junk, trash, and debris on it? Or are we going to create a separate one? Because what Councilman Stevens talked about is a little above and beyond what we're currently doing.
Yeah, I think what the councilman is pointing to in the future, it would have been nice to have done that in this instance, to his point. But in the future, that we, in cases where we know that going into the deal that there is a nuisance there, that we go ahead and include that in a contractual manner in that sale. And we perhaps should have done that in this case. We haven't. I have spoken to the owner directly, though, and he has assured me that he intends upon doing just that. But if he were to not do so, we would approach it as we would in any other manner, to your point.
That's right, but maybe to this, pardon me, Mayor, but maybe to the city attorney is, well, it probably makes some sense then to add language, does it not, then, that speak to lots that we are conveying. We have certain, green space, and to the extent that we are going to be a little bit more forthright on the enforcement, does it make sense, or is that something that council should do? And that's memorialize a policy that says we're conveying this particular green space lot, and we need to make sure that certain improvements are made, or at least it's maintained well, or, it's somehow clawed back or something from the person that, bought this for pennies on the dollar.
On a case-by-case basis, staff looks at each property that's being sold, and in certain circumstances, we'll have a development agreement that goes with that parcel of real estate. It's a parcel that we feel really needs to have a house built on it or something. We'll do that development agreement. As far as maintenance, that's all written into our code right now. People are required by law, by our ordinance, to maintain their properties, whether it's green space or has a structure on it.
Sure. That's all I had. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Yep, sure.
Okay, you ready to vote on that item? Okay, those in favor of the recommendation for Resolution 78, 2019, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
you.
carries.
This is the time, place, and date set for a public hearing on proposed ordinance number 3154, 2019, amending the zoning ordinance number 3088, 2015 of the City of Ottumwa, Iowa, and is set forth in Chapter 38 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottumwa, Iowa, by amending sections 387715 and 38992, and inserting new sections 387715 and 38992 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa, as set forth hereafter.
Okay. Kevin, are you addressing this?
We're already to that item. My bad. Sit down a little early. Yes, nuisance were abated on city properties in this resolution. Bills remain unpaid, therefore the abatement costs will be billed to the property taxes upon passage of the
Wait a minute,
resolution.
I think we're on the,
Ordinance 3154, 2019,
Oh,
the public
it
hearing
was
portion.
I1 and we
well,
moved
see,
it to
now that's even
G3.
worse. That's even worse. I am prepared to abate the nuisances, though. We all know now. Sorry about that. Ordinance number 3154, Your Honor. We are recommending a waiving of readings for these ordinances. There are two changes listed here. The first one is for our city's definition of funeral services in the definitions portion of the zoning code, where prior we only had mortuaries and cemeteries included in funeral services. We're also now including funeral homes, crematoria, and mortuaries as an addition. The restrictions are very similar. However, before, mortuaries or crematoria would only be allowed inside the actual boundaries of a cemetery, which is a civic use. Funeral services is a commercial use. It will be a conditional use permit in an R1 through an R5. So there's some similarity there, but we felt like it would be important to get that change in our definitions for funeral services. And since technically in today's world, for the most part, these crematoria are included more as a commercial service inside funeral homes and the like, rather than in the actual boundaries of cemeteries. Our second change was to the building permits, the allowance of building permits, where prior we had zoning compliance as the major test of whether or not the city was capable of issuing a building permit to an individual. We decided to add to that language a little bit, and we added specifically Chapter 24 nuisances generally, and Chapter 24.5 nuisances resulting from abandoned or junk vehicles or machinery. Because standing nuisances on properties, it's really not proper for the city to issue permits where there are standing nuisances, which aren't necessarily listed or attenuated in the zoning code, but certainly are in the city's code. We also, in a more general manner, included compliance with the city code in general. So there can be a lot of different reasons that you could be denied a building permit, but conformity with the city code generally and specifically with Chapter 24 and also Chapter 38, the zoning code, would be the case.
Okay. This item is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience that wants to address this item. Seeing none, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
I'm giving that to Mark and Victor. Okay. Any questions for Kevin? Hearing none. Those in favor of closing the public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Ordinance number 3154, 2019, amending the zoning ordinance number 3088, 2015 of the City of Ottumwa, Iowa, and is set forth in Chapter 38 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottumwa, Iowa by amending Sections 387715 and 38992, and inserting new Sections 387715 and 38992 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa, as set forth hereafter. Recommendation: pass the first consideration of ordinance number 3154, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Ally. Any questions? Those in favor of this first consideration signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Waive the second and third considerations, pass and adopt ordinance number 3154, 2019.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Resolution number 71, 2019, adopt the communications policy effective May 7th, 2019. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 71, 2019.
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you. Joni, are you taking that? Thank you.
I believe I am, Your Honor. The city is putting into writing its longstanding unwritten policy dealing with the various methods of communication with the public. This policy 70-2019 sets out 4 basic types of communication through surveys, project updates, community meetings, and website social media posts. The policy also discusses media inquiries and interviews. A social media section discusses the usage of these sites as well as the professionalism required when staff members respond to social media requests and place information on our website. The policy encourages staff to provide as much information to the public as possible, and I've attached a copy of that proposed policy.
Any questions for Joni? Okay. Those in favor of the motion to pass this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 76, 2019, awarding the contract for the Ottumwa Main Street Improvement Project, also known as Downtown Streetscape, to Ports and Construction Incorporated of Dubuque, Iowa, and the amount of $5,096,359.30. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 76, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, Larry. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The project consists of complete reconstruction of the 100, 200, and 300 blocks of Main Street It will include full depth, full width PCC reconstruction. The project will include replacement of the sanitary sewer lines and sewer laterals. In addition, new water mains and service lines will be installed during the project. New ADA compliant sidewalks will be installed. A separate storm system will be installed and recombined at Green Street intersection, which will allow for future separation. As part of the bid, 5 add alternate bid items were included in the plan set bid documents. Alternate bid item 1 and 2 were for addition of fire service lines for buildings that could develop upper story apartments, which would require a sprinkler system by code. There are 10 buildings that this could apply to. Alternate bid item 3 and 4 were for water service lines from the stop box to the building water meter. There are 59 water services that these bids could apply to with unknown lengths. Add alternate 3 and 4 will not be awarded and will be added by either time and material with the prime contractor or a separate bid at a later date. Kevin Flanagan has been working directly with and contacting property owners on procedures and financial responsibilities. We'll be pulling that into our department and entering into a contract with the individual owners that are interested in replacing their service line from the stop box to their buildings. The property owners will be financially responsible for the water service line from the stop box to the meters, and property owners would also be responsible for any added fire service and future build-outs. Ottumwa Water and Hydro increased their funding to $600,000 from the original allocated amount of $511,665. The design team members have been reviewing bid items to identify possible items for value engineering. The contractor has suggested several to look at, and that would be something that we would continue after the award. Other items that need finalized are the cost for the resident engineer and construction surveying contracts. This contract would be between the city and the engineering firm, but be funded from the allocated funds listed. For 2-season construction schedule, it is estimated to cost $270,000 for construction observation with additional $30,000 for construction survey. 14 plan sets were either mailed or downloaded, and the plan holder list is attached. Bids were received and opened by the City of Ottumwa on April 10th, 2019 at 2 p.m. One bid was received from Portson Construction of Dubuque, Iowa in the amount of $5,096,359.30. Of the 14 plan sets that were downloaded, there were 8 contractors that could be the prime. I have listed all of the funding sources along with maintaining approximately $407,708 as a contingency. And you can see that the total project with all of the different items, and that would include the construction survey at $30,000, construction observation at $270,000, construction engineering, which would be for Genus Architects that designed the original project, and then AEA grant administration at $50,000, totaling $5,546,359.30. And then with the contingency, we're looking at $5,954,068.04. Of the funding, we had CDBG Stormwater Management Grant Fund at $800,000, the IDALS Water Quality Initiative Grant at $55,000. The City of Ottumwa would be at $2,670,000, and that's from a previous bonding issue that Bob has already arranged. Ottumwa Legacy Foundation would be in for $1,946,236, and then Ottumwa Waterworks at $600,000 for total allocated funds at $6,071,236.
Thank you, Larry. That's a lot of information. What is the AEA grant administration?
That is actually for the CDBG. That would be what Brad Grief would be administering up through the state.
Is that then Region 15, the regional planning?
Yes.
Okay, when you say AEA, I think of the Area Education Agency. Okay, thank you. Any questions for Larry?
I have one, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mark.
Of the $2.67 million, how long is the term on that bond? Is that a 10-year bond?
I'll defer to Bob.
Okay. And what's the interest on that's probably going to be in the 3% range, is that right? Okay. That's all I had, Your Honor.
Okay. So at this point in time, we have the money covered, the project is covered with adequate funding, assuming no surprises.
Well, even with what we have listed here, we have a contingency of 8% within the original budget that would be covered under the allocated funds.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's take the vote on this. So we're approving this to Portson, Dubuque, Iowa for $5,096,000. That's the total figure.
Yes, because we will come back for the administration and survey, construction
After.
administration stuff.
Yep, okay. Okay, are you ready to vote? Those in favor of the recommendation to pass this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0 carries. Thank you, Larry. That's a lot of work.
Resolution number 80, 2019, authorizing $11,613.90 refund to Iowa Department of Transportation for excess reimbursement of the Market Street Bridge project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 80, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution and the next one are related. During a pre-close audit of the Market Street Bridge project on the construction files that were held by Calhoun Burns, the Iowa Department of Transportation discovered an excess payment to the city of Ottumwa in the amount, and there's a calculation on that. I believe it's the third page that was provided to you, or the first page immediately after the resolution. And net amount ends up being $11,613.90. And so this resolution authorizes the repayment to the Iowa DOT.
Okay. Any questions for Bob? Pretty straightforward. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Resolution number 81, 2019, authorizing the transfer of $11,613.90 from the local option sales tax fund to the Street Capital Projects Fund for the Market Street Bridge project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 81, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions? Just what we talked about?
Yeah, this basically provides the funding for the refund.
Okay. Those in favor of the motion to pass resolution 81, 2019, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Resolution number 83, 2019, fixing an amount for abating a nuisance against certain properties in the city of Ottumwa, Iowa for a total amount of $1,771.33. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 83, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Kevin, that's yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, clearly there was a bit of anticipation on this issue from me earlier. Nuisances were abated by the city at the properties in this resolution. The bills remain unpaid. Therefore, the abatement costs will be billed to the property taxes with the passage of this resolution. Total costs on the resolution are $1,771.33.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Thank you.
opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 90, 2019, authorizing the mayor to sign and staff to submit the Airport Capital Improvement Program, ACIP, data sheets and related documents to the Iowa DOT for the fiscal years 2019 through 2024. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 90, 2019.
Move the recommendation as presented.
Thank you, Mark.
Second.
Thank you, Matt. We have with us Chris Cobbler from the airport. Chris, good evening.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So the city must submit an annual airport improvement plan to the Iowa DOT. This plan serves as a pre-application for the Iowa DOT grant program. The updated project plan includes Apron improvements for the year of 2020 and 21. Putting in taxi LED lighting for 2022 and 2023. And construct a box hangar for 2024. The following information is included in the plan. Data sheets with project description, amount of requested DOT dollars, which is 85%. The local match required is 15% of the project. This has been approved by the Airport Advisory Board.
Are there any questions about this? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chris, and we look forward to seeing more improvements out there.
Thank you.
Resolution number 96, 2019, awarding the contract for the Asphalt Street Repair Program 2019 to Norris Asphalt Paving Company, LC of Ottumwa, Iowa, in the amount of $1,125,056. Recommendation, pass and adopt resolution number 96, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you, Mark. Go ahead, Larry.
This project is our annual asphalt street repair program, which started in 2003 and is used to set unit price cost. The work will consist of overlays on various streets within the city. Staff have reviewed the sewer condition and the ADA requirements for each of the streets listed below. The streets under the first round is Wildwood city limits, south to Albia Road, east 3rd Market to Green, Sheffield, Clay to Benton, Clay Street 3rd to Sheffield. Plans for the projects are posted on the city website, submitted to Master Builders of Iowa for publication with their construction update plan service, and available for pickup in engineering office. An announcement is published in the Ottumwa Courier notifying the public of the project. Bids were received and opened by the City of Ottumwa on April 24th, 2019 at 2 p.m. The project was advertised on the City of Ottumwa and the Master's websites. One bid was received. Low bidder is Norris Asphalt Paving Company, LC of Ottumwa, Iowa, in the amount of $1,125,056. This includes the base bid total of $1,044,425 and an alternate bid item of $80,631. The bid tab and the plan holders list is attached.
Any questions for Larry? Hearing none, those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Larry. Resolution number 97, 2019, awarding the contract for the Catch Basin Replacement Program 2019 to DC Concrete and Construction, LLC of Dowds, Iowa, and the amount of $54,706. Recommendation, pass and adopt resolution number 97, 2019.
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Howie. Go ahead, Larry.
This is another one of our annual programs. It rebuilds catch basins and raises catch wells with new grates as indicated on the plans and specifications. Basins are located on various streets within the City of Ottumwa. Plans, again, were posted on the normal sites for Ottumwa. Bids were received and opened by the City of Ottumwa on April 24th, 2019 at 2 p.m. One bid was received. The low bidder is DC Concrete and Construction of Dowds, Iowa, in the amount of $54,706. Bid tab and plan holder list are attached.
Any questions for Larry? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Larry.
Resolution number 98, 2019, awarding the contract for the Sanitary Utility Access Program 2019 to DC Concrete and Construction, LLC of Dowds, Iowa, and the amount of $53,800. Recommendation, pass and adopt resolution number 98, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Go ahead, Larry.
This project will place sanitary utility access and existing sanitary sewer lines and associated patchwork. Manholes will be placed at locations that have either limited access points or problem areas prone to plugging and causing increased cleaning maintenance. Bids were received and opened by the City of Ottumwa on April 24th, 2019 at 2 p.m. One bid was received. The low bidder is DC Concrete and Construction of Dowds, Iowa, in the amount of $53,800.
Any questions for Larry? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 99, 2019, awarding the contract for the sidewalk drop and detectable warning installation program 2019 to DC Concrete and Construction LLC of Dowds, Iowa, in the amount of $131,675. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 99, 2019.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead, Larry.
This is the eighth contract and consists of the installation of sidewalk drops and detectable warnings at various locations throughout the city of Ottumwa. The completion of these sidewalk drops and detectable warnings will be a step toward compliance with our ADA transition plan. The transition plan was approved by council on August 7th, 2012. The city-owned and maintained intersections are one portion of the ADA requirement. The overall project was estimated at that time at $1,280,000 and is budgeted for $120,000 each year until completed. Bids were received and opened by the city of Ottumwa on April 24th, 2019 at 2 p.m. 3 bids were received. The low bidder is DC Concrete and Construction of Dowds, Iowa, in the amount of $131,675. Only the base bid is being awarded.
Okay. Any questions for Larry?
Yeah, I have one. Larry, doing the math, it looks like a 10-year proposal. Is that being dictated? Is there a length of time that this needs to be applied for ADA requirements?
Our original plan was 10 years. What we did was we did an inventory of the entire city and looked at the number of ADA drops that were non-compliant. And then we put together an estimate and divided that basically by 10. We didn't, and we'll have to look at inflation cost and how much we're successful each year. Sometimes, you know, the bid came in lower than our original estimate and we could do a few more, sometimes the other way.
Thank you.
We anticipate that there will be a final cleanup year.
Any other questions? Okay, those in favor of this recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 100, 2019, awarding the contract for the HMA PCC Street Crack Repair Program 2019 to Klusner Construction Incorporated of Farley, Iowa, in the amount of $44,455. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 100, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead, Larry.
This is another one of our annual programs, preventative maintenance program, which consists of sealing street cracks throughout the city of Ottumwa. Bids were received and opened by the city of Ottumwa on April 24th, 2019 at 2 p.m. The project was advertised again on the normal places for the city. 2 bids were received. The low bidder is Klusner Construction of Farley, Iowa, in the amount of $44,455.
Any questions for Larry? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Resolution number 101, 2019, approving change order number 1 for the Beach Phase 3 Contract D Electrical MCC Replacement Project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 101, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead, Gene.
Thank you, Your Honor. The City Council approved the contract in the amount of $49,400 to Von Mannen Electric of Newton, Iowa through resolution number 2007-2018 on July 24th, 2018 for replacing the deteriorated motor control centers in the indoor pool facility and the filter building. Change order number 1 will increase the contract amount $8,681.24 to rewire and add new conduit and wiring, new 208 and 408 volt panels to update and correct the motor control center in the filter building. These corrections are necessary to bring the installation within electrical code compliance. So the total cost for phase 3 to date are $497,105.11.
Any questions for Gene? Hearing none, those in favor of this recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, Gene.
Resolution number 102, 2019, approving change order number 1 for the Beach Phase 4 RFP 4X Safety Netting Replacement Project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 102, 2019.
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mark. Go ahead, Gene.
The city council awarded the contract in the amount of $8,388.88 to replace the safety netting system around the children's play area and the rope around the wave pool to Pierce Fence Company of Ottumwa, Iowa on April 2nd, 2019. Change order number 1 increases the contract amount by $1,200 for replacement of the deteriorated netting around the base of the Vortex play equipment in the children's play area. So the new contract sum is $9,588.88. And the total cost of this phase of the project, $580, $912.31.
Any questions for Gene? Hearing none, those in favor of this recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Resolution number 103, 2019, approving change order number 1 and accepting the work as final and complete and approving the final pay request for the 2018 RFP 15 City Hall Masonry Entrance Repair Project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 103, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Good, Holly. Go ahead, Larry.
The 4th Street City Hall masonry entrance required repair and RFPs were sent out October 31st of 2018. Western Specialty Contractors of West Des Moines, Iowa was awarded the contract on December 4th, 2018 in the amount of $17,600. Change order 1 increases the amount by $1,800 for quantity adjustments involving 4 additional step removals and repair, bringing the total contract to $19,400. The contractors completed the above reference work according to the request for proposals, and this will authorize change order 1 and release all retainage and final payment.
Okay, any questions for Larry? Hearing none, those in favor of this recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Larry.
Resolution number 104, 2019, approving change order number 1 and accepting the work as final and complete and approving the final pay request for the 2018 Catch Basin Replacement Program. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 104, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead, Larry.
Now, this was last year's annual catch basin project, which reconstructed and raised catch basin wells with new grates as indicated on last year's plans and specifications. Basins were again located in various places throughout the city. Change order 1 decreases the contract sum by $9,368.50 for the reduction of quantity adjustments. The new contract amount would be $44,861.38.
Okay. Any questions for Larry? Hearing none, those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 106, 2019, approving a memorandum of understanding and agreement between the City of Ottumwa and Bridge City Sanitation LLC, modifying the disposal contract regarding yard waste. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 106, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Go ahead, Kevin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. As I said in the report to council, this resolution will change the manner in which we collect yard wastes in the city. Previously, we had a what you might call a bag-centric approach to the collection of yard waste, where the city would buy specific bags, city bags, and the city would sell those at the recycling center and in different retail outlets around town would sell those. The city would buy those bags for approximately 50 cents, and then we would sell them, and the stores would sell them for $1. The stores would keep a nickel on one of those dollar sales. So the revenue is approximately 45 cents to the city per bag. Revenue item for the city was roughly around $28,000, whereas the expenditure item for the bags was around $14,000. Realized revenue was approximately around $12,600. Now, our vendor, the vendor that sells the bags, basically wants to sell in bulk alone. and the amount of that bulk would make storage a difficult concept for the city to be able to wrap its head around. We really don't have that kind of facility. Plus, long-term storage of compostable bags would probably be the most comfortable home for a mouse or a rat in town, because, of course, you're going to dig in there and they're going to make nests, and we're going to take quite a long time to use the entirety of the shipment of those bags. So clearly a better approach was in order. And we felt like you combine the storage part of it with the expenditure part, which we haven't actually budgeted for this year. And you combine also the onerous nature and the tediousness of getting those bags out there to those outlets and everything that involved. And it just seemed like that a tag approach was a lot smarter given the situation we find ourselves in. Tags being a lot more affordable to buy, either in bulk or lesser, and a lot less likely to be damaged over time from any kind of wildlife, and the ease of course, getting them out to vendors. So our proposition is that we do a memorandum of understanding or agreement with our contractor, not necessarily altering our contract. We're in the last couple of years of our contract, but just a memorandum of understanding. Because if you look at the language that's in our contract under 229, yard waste collection means the curbside collection of all yard waste set out by customers, providing it is in the Ottumwa Wapelli yard waste bag and weighs no more than 40 pounds. Now that 40 pounds would still be the case. You find that poundage to be quite common amongst the commercial profferings in the compostable bag market. But the individual would be able, the citizen would be able to go to any store in town or go to any outlet or go online or wherever they may want to go and buy whatever bag they want. But upon that bag, they would place the new fangled Green City yard waste bag tag. And in that manner, the Bridge City Sanitation would collect only those bags that are tagged. And that's our dollar tags, still 1 nickel going to our commercial outlets that would deal with those bags. And that would be our suggestion as far as the policy goes going forward. Now, our recycling coordinator, Janice Bain, is with us tonight. Janice. And if you have any questions, she'd be glad to attend.
Good evening, Janice. If you want to add anything.
Good evening. No, I think Kevin covered it unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Janice? How are we going to get this out to the public and make sure that they're fully aware of the change?
We can do a press release. I've already gave all the stores a heads up that it's coming. Just didn't know exactly which way we were going to go, but they know that we're probably going to be doing something different. We can put it on the city's website, GoTV. I can put it on our solid waste website.
Okay, very good.
It may be helpful to try to get some signage to put at the stores as well. So that way people, can get, see this, some signage explaining the change when they're there. In case there's store associates that don't know.
If the stores are agreeable to it.
Mark?
Two-part question. Number one, the outlets that are currently selling the bags now, have we communicated with those vendors to tell them that this process will be changing? And number two, I know it isn't going to be in aggregate a lot of additional cost to the individual homeowners, but it is a significant increase as a percentage. Is there any fear that this program will be used a little bit less as a result of these increases?
I have called all of the stores that currently sell yard waste sacks and told them that there was a change coming. Of course, I didn't know exactly what we were going to do, but I notified all of them there was a change coming. And as far as less use, it depends on how you want to look at it. If you look at it from our EMS standpoint with our program with the DNR, we kind of want to discourage people from disposing of yard waste in that manner. So I guess it depends on how you look at it. If you look at it from Bob's budget standpoint, I guess you don't want to discourage it, but if you look at it from our solid waste and Iowa DNR standpoint, we do want to discourage it. So does that answer your question?
Kind of. I guess if you're discouraging it, what's the option to the individual homeowner to get rid of that waste then?
Our encouragement should be from an environmental standpoint to mulch it and leave it lay or to compost it. But that doesn't work for everyone, but.
No.
But there
we have several nuisance issues in Ottumwa directly related to that.
There hasn't been, an increase in the cost of yard waste disposal in the 27 years that I've been at the recycling center. So.
Understood.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, just a question to follow up on what Councilman Rowe pointed out, Janice, not to put you on the spot. Probably a Kevin question as well, but as it relates to nuisance abatement, and that would be people taking their leaves, their yard waste, and putting them obviously not at the curb, but someplace else. And again, not to put Mr. Flanagan on the hot seat here, but I wonder how many, are there many instances where we are abating? I can understand junk, trash, and debris. Are we abating many instances where we have grass, leaves, and other green materials?
For the most part, what we're doing in nuisance abatement out there is not going to be green material for the most part. There are some sites where you're going to see woody debris, old firewood that is not stacked well and has collapsed and is in a disarray situation, or brushy debris. But for the most part, we're looking more at solid waste type debris, municipal solid waste type debris, or bulky atom type debris that we deal with in a nuisance. And to be clear, we don't feel like that we're in any way this is a punitive kind of thing or anything like that. And it's not necessarily a budgetary approach that's driving the change here to the tag item. It's more so, of course, the buying in the bulk and the challenges that present, and our inability to be able to store that in any real way to protect those materials. In other words, it could be a wasteful adventure to buy an 18-wheeler load of those things and see damage occur to half of it. But it's the people who are gathering yard waste in a manner where they're putting it in clippings and putting it in 40-gallon bags are going to continue, we feel, to do that. So we don't feel like we're going to see a change. To Janice's point, we see a fairly consistent level of participation in the program for the folks that use bags, and we don't anticipate any change in that accordingly.
Mr. Mayor, again, not to capitalize on this, but I can just continue this a little bit further. So we're talking about an increase of just at Apex is at $2. It's $1 for the tag and $1 for the bag?
No, only it'll still be $1 generally. We were doing dollar bags, and now we'll be doing dollar tags. There is a slight increase in revenue associated with this, but I would also point out that the city has not changed its revenue on this program, this policy, in very, very many years. And we find that at the rate at which we're proposing here $1 a tag, we are not only comparable to other cities our size and around us, but also just a little bit less expensive.
So if I might do one last, and I promise I'll shut up and be
And the
slow.
bags, I should also add, sir, that the bags won't be $1. I think it was $1.99 the other day for a pack of 5 bags online from Menards. Just to, not that I'm suggesting a purchase from that vendor, just pointing out in my search one item I did see.
Right, that was just it. I understand the tag portion, but again, the bags is going to be up to, in terms of where people buy them, on what volume, that's going to be just driven by, I guess.
Choice.
Yeah, a choice for them.
Yeah.
That's all I had. Thank you, Mayor.
I appreciate the fact that in our packet, you did show us a comparison of other like cities.
Yes.
Large and small. And I think that's good for our council to see what our neighbors are doing. So appreciated that.
Yes, Janice was very diligent in looking around and doing a little bit of analysis there to, find out what's going on out there and where would we compare if we make this change. It's been quite a long time when you look at the policy of what we've been doing. In a way, we may have even been losing money doing it.
So I guess I would tag on to that something that that I know at least Councilman Dalby and I have been saying for a long time in several different areas, that perhaps 20 years is a little bit too long to wait to adjust prices on anything. The
Yes.
city should recognize that costs go up over time, and we should adjust accordingly more expeditiously than 20 years after the fact.
That's right. Too true. It's a fee for a service, and fees for services should keep pace with the cost inflation of the services the fees are meant to cover.
Good point, good comment from council.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready to vote?
I guess one thing I just wanted to point out, since I know we talked about it beforehand, but Janice had also done research trying to find alternate vendors as well. So just wanted the public to know that Janice spent a lot of time trying to find the best solution for this change.
Agreed. Thanks for all your legwork on this, Janice. It's a vendor-driven change, and I think that, you put a lot of legwork into trying to get the best possible scenario for everyone involved. And so nice job with all of that.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, if you're ready to vote, those in favor of the resolution 106, 2019, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 108, 2019, approving change order number 1 and accepting the work as final and complete and approving final pay request for the Milner Street Pump Station Removal Project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 108, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Second.
Thanks, Holly. Go ahead, Larry.
This project eliminated the Milner Street pump station by installing approximately 40 feet of sewer line. I was able to do this from a previous separation project. What this really does was allow us not to set a generator. This is the one sanitary sewer that we had remaining under our required replacement or setting of generators for each of our sanitary pump stations. Change order 1 decreases the contract sum by $2,390.55 for quantity adjustment and increased it by $500 for extra work performed for a total of $1,890.55 reduction. So the new contract amount is $31,787.45.
Any questions for Larry? Hearing none, those in favor of this recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Ordinance number 3155, 2019, amending Chapter 23 entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic by adding subsection 23-153Q, by amending subsections 23-155K and 23-212-4, by deleting subsections 23-2068, 23-214C3, 23-215, 23-216, and 23-221, and deleting Articles 8 and 9 and inserting new subsections 23-214C3 and 23-214C4 and new Articles 8 and 9 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottumwa, Iowa. Recommendation passed the first consideration of ordinance number 3155, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
I have a question here that's something I just discovered that I didn't see before. This eliminates parking on the west side of Market Street from Main to Commercial. What drove that?
Your Honor, if I may,
Okay.
these changes were made as a result of a committee that worked together with Larry Seals, Chad Carlson, Chief McAndrew, and Chris Reinhardt, our city clerk. Regarding the Market Street, it appeared that it wasn't properly marked as far as parking enforcement. And that was the recommendation, I believe, of Larry Seals in conjunction with Chief McAndrew.
Skip, what area are you talking about? Because we didn't eliminate on Market. We added signage in the code to reflect what was in the field. If you looked at the west side of Market if this is the area you're talking about, between Main and River, those spots are remaining. We were simply posting them because the code was silent on the fact that they had restrictive. So the police department really couldn't enforce it, is my understanding.
Well, what I may be mixed up, but what I'm reading here is we're trying to eliminate parking on the west side of Market Street from Main to Commercial. That's right by River Hills.
That, I think that would be a typo in the code. The intention was to simply sign it as posted in the field.
That makes more sense, but this says no parking.
What section are you in?
I'm right down in the middle of the
discussion.
Yeah.
It says it clarifies 1 hour parking on either side of Market Street from Main to 3rd Street, but provides no parking on the west side of Market Street from Main to Commercial.
That's not correct in the staff summary. It should be that we simply are posting, that was the intent of the group that we met with. Those were to remain right against River Hills Community Center.
So we need an amendment here.
I would say that needs adjusted. I don't know if that actually is reflected in the code the same as that. I think, is it right in the code? Yeah, in the actual code, I think it's just the staff summary that doesn't represent the actual code as written. What number is that?
So do we just need to make an amended motion to make the correction on the staff summary then?
Mr. Mayor, just a question on that one, maybe for the city clerk. Do you table it? I realize the staff summary is independent of the language that's memorialized in any ordinance or resolution. I'm not trying to delay this.
If the code is written correctly, that's really what we're voting on,
Not the staff summary.
not the staff summary. There can be typos in the staff summaries all the time.
Well, then council would have to just, if they agree to that as to form, and you wouldn't take a vote on it then obviously they'd vote on the ordinance in and of itself.
I would think just the minutes would reflect that actually isn't correct and that the code is correct.
I would put it in the minutes as a Scrivener's error to clarify that.
Okay, so at this point, what we're saying then is there is an error in the staff summary, but we believe the code is correct. And we're going to have our city clerk check that. So before it gets republished. Okay, are you comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we do that okay, Joni, as far as?
That might be a typo in the staff summary, but I think that code section's correct
It looks
in
that way.
there. Talks about 1 hour parking and the parking that's allowed on Market Street from Main to Commercial Street.
Right.
So I think it's correct.
Yeah, Skip, if
It's
you look
that
at
214.
214C3
Yeah.
has it in that section there.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're okay with adopting, if you choose to vote on this, to adopt this the way it is in the ordinance and disregard the error in the staff summary. Okay, are you clear on that? So if you're ready to vote, we would take a first consideration of ordinance 3155. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Waive the second and third consideration, pass and adopt ordinance number 3155, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation is presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Thank you. Yeah, Matt and Skip. Okay, those in favor of waiving the second and third signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Resolution number 82, 2019, setting parking permit fees for the city's parking lots and parking ramp. Recommendation, pass and adopt resolution number 82, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation is presented, Your Honor.
Second.
All right, those in favor of that, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we're down to item J. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to address an item that's not on the agenda, now's the time to step to the microphone. We have a petition signed by a number of residents and some out-of-town people, but Gene, are you going to step up to the microphone, or can I make some comments to you about this? Okay, thank you. Gene Muldoon, who is a local citizen here, did present Chris with a petition and a drawing for consideration of some work to be done at our boat ramp and boat dock out by Black Hawk. It's been duly stamped and filed, and I'd like to give it to our city staff to look at and review and then come back with a recommendation later at the next meeting. So thank you, Gene, for doing that. We'll take it under advisement, and then we'll make some comments at the next meeting after we have a staff look at it. Okay. Are there any council comments?
I just have one announcement. On June 1st is the second annual canteen eating contest, and Joey Chestnut, who's the world record holder for Nathan's hot dogs, is coming here. He's has several world records in these eating contests. He's kind of the heavyweight champ. It's kind of exciting to have him coming here. And the folks at the canteen are looking for volunteers to help with that event on June 1st. And you can contact Scott Pierce at the canteen, Shay Greiner at the Chamber of Commerce, or Fred Zeziger at Main Street. They need help with setup and with cleanup after the event. So I'll mention this again at the next council meeting and even give you some phone numbers at that time so that it'll be a little bit closer to the event. But it should be exciting, and they're in need of some help. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Strebe. Appreciate that.
I just wanted to say that May 16th will be the groundbreaking, or the celebratory event for the Streetscape project, and there'll be a kids event called Build It, Dig It, Do It from 4 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, May 16th, and that's put on by Main Street Ottumwa to kind of get everybody excited. There'll be lots of construction equipment from different businesses and organizations around town that kids can check out and see. And so there's a lot of great business partners working on that event with Main Street Ottumwa. So definitely get the kids out to that.
Thank you, Holly. We'll keep people posted of that. There'll be a lot of posters around town, and certainly want to take advantage of the kickoff for that. I would mention tomorrow night is the Iowa Utility Board meeting at Bridgeview at 6 p.m. There will be a discussion of or at least a listening post for the proposed rate increase by Alliant Energy. Several of us will be in attendance, and it's open to the public at 6 p.m. at Bridgeview. Also want to congratulate our city administrator for the work on the Star Award. I think the paper had a nice article today, and it's beginning of some good things to happen. Lastly, and I just make a very brief comment, I did have a contact with Blackbird about the St. Joe project. They are in legal discussion with the contracting firm Elder, and at this point I don't have any other information other than that they are negotiating and trying to get a legal settlement. So they said they would keep us posted, and we'll hear something in the very near future. So that's all I have, unless you have something else, Council. Okay, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, carried.
6:54.
I was thinking it was going to be longer than that.